Hi, welcome to Ask Donna and Donna. I'm Donna Piper, and she's over there, Don Shirelli. So today we want to talk about health and wellness. We talk about physical health and mental health, but what about spiritual health? So for me, spiritual health is kind of like the common thread between the body and the mind. So they're all interlocked, and you can kind of get out your spiritual, all three need a lot of attention. I mean, and a lot of is just each one has its own space so your physical health, how do you contribute to your physical health? By moving and eating well. How do you contribute to your mental health? By thinking positive thoughts and learning things, but also how much you move and what you eat also affects your mental health. Same thing with your spiritual body. How you move your body, if you're moving, what you're ingesting, what you're intaking with your eyes, with your mind, with your mouth, with your environment, really does impact your spiritual health. So we want to ask a question, ask yourself, where are you with your spiritual routine and gifts and giving, like your spiritual routine as far as giving to yourself, and how healthy, quote unquote, is it? And what do you want to say about that, Dawn?
Yeah, I've been learning so much about the balance of these three lately. As you know, I come from the background of like health crisis, and my spiritual path has been to physical and mental wellness. And amazing things have happened lately where I had an actual person say something pretty mean to me. And even though I stood my ground, the effects of those words were actually quite negative. And I actually believed in my illness, and that my mentor actually did a video earlier that day about how that if I just choose my wellness, then I will be healthier. So it was fascinating to me that the words a person spoke were, I held that belief in my body, and I actually felt physically unwell. And I came home and I turned on the fan and I laid down and I called a good friend, and she said, "You're not supposed to do anything but rest now." And I was like, okay, good idea. I happened to be dehydrated because I had this fabulous meal on this patio downtown. And I was overdressed because I called it wrong on the weather. You know, it can change from one extreme to the other around here sometimes. And I took that word on as the energy that it was, and it affected me so profoundly.
It is amazing how words, especially from people that we admire or have learned from, that we trust, can affect us in a way. I had a similar experience, not the other day, but just with a woman that was kind of took over this mentorship, this meditation program I was in. And I wanted to really trust I'm kind of always looked for an external validation of like my inner crazy thoughts. Like I have all these until I like my new tribe, which is Dawn and Lisa and Amy and all these people and all my high school friends and grade school friends that know me and know how crazy I am. But there was this time in my life they loved me for all of my stuff. But there was a time.
Project just a little.
Yeah.
Because I say often, my awakening happened in the psychiatry ward, that I actually officially have the crazy card, but that I am a good crazy.
All crazy. You are a good crazy. You are. And that is.
You are too.
Yes, I am. All of my unorthodox views, which are more mainstream now, which I feel a lot better for.
Same. Yes.
You know, it's very comforting that it's not the 80s and I wasn't eating animals and my friends would question me constantly, but I digress. But it's really how I was searching some external validation to kind of gauge how I was feeling, if it was reality or not reality. Like, where is this coming from? And I put so much trust on an external source other than myself, that when, then it turned like she was able to manipulate me and do things and like that I know wasn't myself. And I had a different sort of healing crisis, but the same thing. Was physical. I had pneumonia, which we talked in another video about, but that just not putting emphasis on myself as the person that's going to feed me physically, like mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and not valuing that. Like I had to do an external sort of routine or external input. Not until the Soul Awakening method did I really kind of claim all that back for myself and be like, okay, I don't need all this external stuff. And okay, when people say this stuff and my emotions go with me, and if I feel bad or up or down, is it true or is it not true? Before I would like ponder that and like get all upset and spin out. And now I'm like, okay, no, let's check in. Maybe I haven't had enough water. Maybe there wasn't enough sleep. Maybe I'm not feeding myself correctly. How much have I moved recently? How much have I meditated recently? Like, who am I? Go back to there and then reevaluate. Are the words that I'm intaking and are affecting me, are they valid? And what can I do with it from that place other than just let it take me for a ride?
Yeah, it has been fascinating, healing so much so fast with the work, that the balance is that as I heal physically, or as I heal, they all ebb and flow, but as the levels go up for each physical, mental, spiritual, the happier, the healthier. I am currently off all medications.
Wow.
For the first time in 8 years. I am losing weight with no effort. I don't even know. I tried on a size 10 pant the other day. I don't think I've been a size 10 since I was like 13. And that this is what happiness is. This is what happy looks like. That my best version of my best self is being developed as I get healthier in all areas of my life, and that as I become more balanced in one, I become more balanced in the other too. It's fascinating.
It's beautiful. And so I had a Pilates and yoga and stretch studio that I just had to shut down recently because of COVID, and that's another story. But part of the reason why I developed it is because when I was sick, I knew that movement was the only thing that was going to heal me physically and put back online my spiritual growth and my mental growth, because it was so out of whack, whatever I was integrating, and it wasn't truly my stuff I was trying to process and integrate. If that makes any sense.
It does.
But
it's woo, but yeah.
So I had to like move, get up. Movement heals in all directions. It physically heals your body, because I could go into a lot of scientific research on that, but I won't. But the act of moving heals. Even breathing heals you. And movement also creates an energy to flow. And once you move, you can find places that are stuck and then move those. And having that balance that you were talking about between your mind, your body, and your soul, and moving in ebb and flow, and not being so focused in one and discount the others, that also is that movement of integration. So really growing and moving, and we're physical beings, and everything is spinning and moving your blood's moving. Everything in the world is moving, even if it's staying still. There's energy moving it.
Yes.
And tapping into the movement of energy and how it can heal you so profoundly is really, we don't really have to. I always thought I had to go outside of myself to seek the right key in order to unlock something to be healed, mentally, spiritually, all of it. Like there has to be something
Physically.
out there that can unlock my potential. And really, it's found that I think of all spiritual journeys or all kind of, then you find like, no, you've had it the whole time. You just haven't wanted to give yourself the permission or whatever that is. Or if we do epigenetic work where we unlock, or you could release, or however you want to say, but look at inherited and trapped emotions, and how whenever those little patterns get turned on or off, how that affects you. And by being like, it's kind of fun. We get to be like detectives and figure out what is going on.
It is fun.
And we clear it in a way that sounds like nothing, but it's huge about beliefs.
Huge.
And it shifts you in a way that you so know yourself more, and you really are much more discerning about what's yours and what's an external belief or yours. So it's really fascinating. And all that is done. And there's a physical aspect to what we do that moves the energy. So all the things, it comes back to movement really does heal. So like everything in your life, literally.
Yes.
So we really,
I'm a huge proponent of Qi Gong now.
Love it.
The people in wheelchairs can do that. That is the beauty. And it's all the things. It's not about the right diet. It's not about being the right weight. It's not about achieving this level of perfectionism. It's not about, it's definitely not about having a Birkin bag. And it's like, I think we've been bamboozled into believing in this capitalist society. I know this is, okay, let's just not talk about that. Let's not go there.
Okay, well, I think we have both. I think I could be the most spiritual being and loving and giving, and I can have whatever my heart desires, Birkin bags, I can have amazing, beautiful things, because God gave us this earth and everything on it, and I believe that I'm a part of it. So why should I deny the pleasures of it? For me, it's the integration of the two that brings me more spiritual clarity. When I separated, like, oh gosh, if I meditate, I can't like that. I have to have this begging bowl of like, oh, can give me money. Like, no, it's taken some time.
You always bring me back.
But, but there's true. Like but not that you have to have my belief, but I believe that God gave us everything on this planet. So why do you have to be only a certain way and only to get that? You could be spiritual and abundant. You could be, it doesn't have to be one side or the other.
It's never just one.
And I think
it's living our best life. Living our best life.
And I think this transition into whatever this new world we're experiencing, whatever you believe, you have to recognize that between the pandemic and all of the riots and all of everything, something's going on in the world. So something's shifting. So once we shift, what am I going to bring into this new reality? Do I want to bring my old beliefs that really weren't serving me? No. Or do I want to embrace on a cellular level, a bone level, that I can have everything that I want to have attain in my life? And I think that's part of the freedom movements and Black Lives Matter, and everything is like everyone is ready to be free.
Yes.
Physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritual freedom. We are ready to
financial freedom.
Yeah. So everyone is free, and we can live in a world where everyone could be free and everyone gets what they want. We don't have to take or suppress. But
hallelujah.
like all birth and all growth, it's sticky and messy and uncomfortable and sad. There's
And
things
hard.
So
And it never ends.
it never ends. So the more you can have a physical practice, the more you have a mental practice, even just being grateful is a mental practice. I'm trying to think of the other mental practices I do, gratitude, but also trying to be conscious of my words that I use.
Same.
Am I saying could or should or have to, or is there better, or just the language that I tell myself? And then also my spiritual, like, okay, how am I giving to myself spiritually? Am I meditating? Am I taking myself for self-care? Am I nurturing my body, my soul, and my mind? And some practices do them all together. Other ones you need separate practices for each. But I think that will get me to a place where I really could know myself and show up fully for what's to come. And you mentioned Qi Gong, or I always say it wrong, but
Qi Gong, I do too, yeah.
Doing a practice, a beautiful practice like that, or whatever you choose, is only going to benefit you. I've never, and I was a personal trainer for a long time, and it's kind of a commonality in the whole world, but I've never, no client, and even myself has never regretted going to a class, doing something. It's like, oh, I shouldn't have worked out. I shouldn't have done that. That doesn't
happen. Right.
So, finding something that you connects with you to move you is what it's all about. And then showing up for yourself each time.
Well, and the inherent beauty of our choices and how diverse each human being is, and how diverse their pathway is, and fulfilling all of that. I feel compelled to discuss the power of our words. I'm just a little redneck girl from small town Alberta, and I can cuss like a trucker. And the F-bomb used to be a signal, an early warning sign of my mental illness popping up. And now I express it in joy and happiness. And the energy of it is completely different. But I'm still got a potty mouth.
Yeah, like they say, and I've found it to be true, if you deny any part of yourself, you're never going to really grow. So change the energy behind the F-bomb to something that was probably negative and against, or you felt against, or you was like F the world or whatever.
Oh,
and
yeah. Yeah, it was not pretty.
F this in a more, the energy behind the words, some words carry energy just innately, but also it's your energy that goes behind the word that changes the frequency as well, which probably is a whole other video on
video.
But we'll have a link below for the Qigong, which Dawn, the woman Dawn likes. I think it's a woman instructor.
Yeah,
right?
her name's Marissa. Yeah.
Marissa.
She's amazing.
And if you have a question for us about any sort of spiritual practices, mental practices, or physical practices that Dawn and I do, or you would like us to discuss or talk more about, please email us at askdawnanddonna@gmail.com. And we'll leave all the information below today's video. So if you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe and like the video, because it is YouTube. So they like those things, and so do we. And am I missing anything else, Dawn?
No, I think that wraps it up beautifully.
All right. I hope everyone has a beautiful day, and we will see you on the next video.